What's up, Solo fam? My name is John Solo, and welcome to the second episode of Messed Up Origins Crypt TV Edition. For those who didn't see last week's episode, Crypt TV is a channel that's dedicated to making very high-quality short horror films and series. What they're trying to do is build a scary cinematic universe where the stories all connect. They upload 3 scary shorts a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, which includes not only original films, but also submissions from filmmakers. In addition to making standalone content, they expand on their best episodes and turn them into series, like the one we're checking out today, Crypt Fables. The series reimagines classic fairy tales and turns them into modern-day scary movies. Last week we covered the Rapunzel short and you guys loved it, so today we're checking out another famous princess, Snow White. This short is called Mira Mira, and it's more than just messed up, it's straight up. Before we get into that, we're gonna go over the original Snow White story so it's fresh in your head. Make sure to hit that like button so we can reach this week's goal of 3,000 likes, and subscribe for new content just like this every week. So essentially, the story follows a princess named Snow White who lives with her father and a very insecure evil stepmother. The stepmother has a magic mirror she's constantly going to for a self-esteem boost. Every time she asks it who's the fairest of them all, it would answer that she was. But one day it gives her a different answer, Snow White, and the queen is so upset by this, she orders a huntsman to kill Snow White and bring back her heart and lungs so she can eat them. Luckily, he has a conscience and can't make himself do it, so Snow White runs away from home and finds refuge with 7 dwarves who live in the woods. They tell her that in exchange for keeping the house clean, she can live with them. Well, it doesn't take long for the evil queen to figure out that Snow White's still alive, and when she does, she immediately goes back to trying to kill her. It takes 3 attempts before she's successful and kills Snow White with a poison apple. But even though she's dead, the dwarves can't make themselves bury the beautiful girl, so they keep her above ground in a glass casket. Sometime later, a prince ends up staying with the dwarves when he needs a place to rest during his travels. And when he sees Snow White's body in the casket, he somehow convinces them to let him take her back to the kingdom. On the way to the kingdom, one of the servants carrying the casket tripped on a rock, and the sudden jolt in movement forced a piece of poison apple out of Snow White's throat, waking her up and saving her life. The prince was ecstatic to see she wasn't dead, then he brought her back to the castle and the two got married. The icing on the cake is because it was a royal wedding, the evil queen was invited, and as punishment for trying to kill Snow White, they forced her to wear flaming hot iron slippers and dance until she died. Quite the curveball at the end, huh? Next we're gonna dive into the Crypt TV short that was inspired by Snow White, Mira Mira. Obviously a play on Mirror Mirror, and I don't want to give too much away, but this does involve a pretty creepy mirror, even creepier than that freak. The short opens with an awesome view of the city. What city? Doesn't matter, because Sandra's too self-involved to appreciate it or the amount of money her boyfriend spent renting the place. Even though he storms off in anger, Sandra still can't get off her phone, and for some reason she thinks taking a selfie with this mannequin is the way to go instead of apologizing to Jared. It looks like the couple's planning a night on the town because Sandra checks out the outfit she packed, then sits down to do her makeup, only something strange is happening. Her reflection in the mirror is messed up. It's transforming into a monster. Naturally, Sandra starts freaking out, and then some demon hands reach out of the mirror and pull her inside. In retrospect, she probably shouldn't have reached out directly to the demon she saw in the mirror, but I understand the curiosity. It could have happened to anyone. When Sandra wakes up, she finds herself in a dark room, laying in a pile of faceless bodies. Not the type of thing you want to see when you first wake up. I experienced something similar after going out and celebrating with my laser tag team. Sandra can look through the mirror like it's a window, and she sees the monster sitting where she once was, toying around with her makeup. Sandra asks the monster, "Who are you?" and she utters in a very creepy voice, and if you thought it couldn't get worse for our girl Sandra, you're wrong. Her boyfriend Jared heard her scream as she was attacked by the monster, so he comes down to investigate, and Mira Mira covers herself up to get him by surprise. In this moment, Sandra is forced to watch as the boyfriend she underappreciated just moments before walks to his doom, all out of concern for her. As he approaches, Mira drops the blanket and he's just about frozen with fear. She grabs his arm and pulls him towards her as her face opens up and reveals something even more horrifying. I kinda wanted to warn you guys before that happened, but I'm sure your reactions were priceless. The mirror monster bites a big old chunk out of Jared's neck and then stares down Sandra one last time, almost as if to say, How you like me now? Sandra stands there in shock and disbelief at what just happened. In the darkness, we see the faceless bodies all silently rise, and when one reaches towards her, cut to black. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be sitting there thinking, what the did I just watch? And that's a reasonable question when you see something like this. Fortunately, you're watching someone who knows these messed up fairy tales really well and has a considerable amount of experience in the theorizing realm. So I'm gonna tell you what I gathered from the short, a few connections I made, and then you can tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. So it took a few minutes to regain my composure after seeing what Mira did to Jared, but right after, my thoughts went straight to the evil queen from the original story. She was constantly going to the mirror for a self-esteem boost, always wanting to know if she was the fairest of them all. When the mirror eventually tells her there's some competition in Snow White, she tries to have her killed by the huntsman. I felt like this short kind of cut out the middleman, because instead of having the queen, the huntsman, and the mirror, those three roles had been condensed into one, and that's Mira Mira. When someone as attractive as Sandra sits down in front of her mirror, she gets jealous because her face is totally busted. Not to mention, Sandra's got her Prince Charming staying with her, and she doesn't even appreciate it. So to make the situation even more painful, Mira kills the person who valued Sandra's beauty so much. And let's not forget those faceless weirdos behind her. I have a feeling they were all as beautiful as she is before they got pulled inside. But now I want to know your thoughts on Mira Mira. Not just if you liked it or not, but your theories on what happened too. If you want to support the channel and help the Solo fam grow, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe, because we got 5 more of these terrifying shorts to explore. I also highly recommend you check out Crypt TV's channel. Not only are they giving the Solo fam the opportunity to revisit some of these classic stories and look at them through a whole different light, they post 3 shorts a week just as awesome as this one, if not better. I got the links to their channel in the description as well as the comments, so give them a shot and I guarantee you find yourself in a rabbit hole like I did. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, my name is John Solo, and remember, John shot first.